Welcome back to this week's Off the Record podcast, and it is a special one today, guys. We have a Crossfader living legend in the building, all the way from Australia. We found her on TikTok in January, and it's come full circle. And this episode is all about opportunity, and it's a great pleasure of ours to introduce COCO.
Hi.
Hello. Wait, we've got one of these.
Thank you.
Right, let me set the scene. Right, back in January time, we're scrolling on Instagram and we're just favoriting DJs and reacting and things like that. We came across you and we're like, this is unique. This is like chaotic and wonderful at the same time. And we're like, she's fun. So we like followed, messaged a few times, and then we have this kind of like secret little level up program on TikTok, which I can't tell you about, but if you're on TikTok, we'll find you. And we reached out to you and you reached out to us. And now you're here.
It's crazy. Even being behind this mic, I listen to this podcast religiously and I'm like, how did it go from that to here?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I thought it was great because we've had some guests on this podcast and, you know, usually bigger DJs give you experience, but you're in a great position where you seize an opportunity, you don't know where it's going, and hopefully in this podcast we can give you some advice, and anyone listening who's on a similar journey. I don't imagine many people on a similar journey, but we'll come to that. So, yeah, when you posted in January, it was basically like day one, learning to DJ. Why?
Yeah. Well, I've always done the music thing as a singer, but in January, one of my best friends is a DJ and he dropped his decks at my house. I have for years stood in the booth behind them, never once looked down and be like, oh, that looks interesting.
Really?
The decks sat at my house. They were DDJ 1000s, sat at my house for a couple of weeks, didn't even touch them. And then I was like, all right, let's give this a go. And honestly, from that second, it was almost like a drug. Like I was obsessed, started posting, and yeah, here we are.
So we've just had some lunch, and you were telling us that you've got a musical background, right?
Yeah.
What's your background?
So I studied musical theatre. So I did that back home from Sydney, and then went to New York and did a bit of stuff there. Yeah. Then my life kind of went more into the singer-songwriter route. So that's why I've got some pop songs out. Yeah. So I have always done this music hustle. And as I was saying to you, it's interesting as a singer, because I did always have that voice in my head being like, where are we going with this? Yeah. You know, am I the next Beyonce? What's happening? Yeah.
I always think that.
Yeah. I mean, it could still happen. I'm not saying no. But that's why finding this DJing thing and being able to very clearly see where it, hopefully quite good career could come from it, is exciting.
Yeah. So with the musical background, was it like a spaceship where you're like, I've no idea what's going on here? Or did you find you picked it up a bit quicker than you?
I think I definitely picked it up quicker because, you know, I know sounds and stuff like that. But honestly, from day one, it was clicking a button, twisting a knob and seeing what happens and just listening. Yeah.
So when you posted like learning to DJ day one, did that go straight viral or did it take a while?
My earliest ones went the most viral. They were getting like 1 million views each.
Yeah. I put out a post the other day, like most DJ online that start saying learning to DJ or something like hashtag learning to DJ, they always go crazy viral. Yeah. It's a great way to start.
It is, because we know that social media is so important and it's really hard to get into sometimes. But for some reason, learning to DJ goes really well. Yeah. No matter your lighting, no matter anything, people love it. So definitely post.
So that was January then. So you January. Just kept learning and posting.
Yeah. So it was definitely helpful getting this community behind me that was so encouraging and helpful and whatnot. And then I was telling you at lunchtime, you know, as an artist, and my heart goes out to anyone in any creative field. We do have those side jobs of working the cafe and babysitting and all of that fun stuff to be able to support your dream. And then it was end of March, beginning of April. I was like, wait, I can actually do something quite big with this DJing, but I need to go all in. I can't just practice an hour a day. So without telling anyone, no friends, no nothing, I ended my lease. I packed up my whole life. Jeez. I've lived in Sydney my whole life. Yeah. I packed everything up. I put it on a truck and I moved home with my parents who now live in the country, 10 hours from civilization. And I locked myself in a room and I practiced every single day. Yeah.
Are they super supportive?
They're very supportive. Yeah. Not that musical, so they're like, what are you doing? And what are these sounds that are coming out? But they're very supportive.
And so you've grown like a decent following on social media, both on Instagram and TikTok. So you've got this kind of like, you're still doing the music stuff and then you're doing the DJ stuff a lot as well. So that's building.
Yeah. TikTok's been, I think at the beginning of the year I had 2,000 followers. Now we're nearly at 40.
Crazy.
And they're the most engaged audience. Yeah. The comments and the messages I get are really cool. Yeah. But definitely still trying to link it in with releasing my own music, and I will never lose that side. That's still very important to me.
And so the reason you're like here today, like I say, we reached out, we connected, and then you just so happened to be, you just decided to go on this traveling mission that you're on now. So tell us what you're doing like right now.
Well, I love Australia. It's always going to be home,
Yeah.
but I did feel a little bit limited in opportunities.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get out. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? That's why, honestly, being here, I'm still pinching myself.
Yeah.
So I saw that there was the Tomorrowland DJ Academy, and that was the main reason I came.
Was it?
And most people from Australia come for Europe summer. So I was like, okay, I'll come for a month. Again, I honestly am the most planned person, but for some reason, I've had a very spontaneous year. And when I was booking my flights to Europe, I was like, the academy was in July, and I was like, no, I'm going to come home in November. And I booked a flight home in November. No
Crazy.
idea what I was doing from August 1st.
Wow.
Zero idea.
Yeah.
And now I'm standing here. So it's really cool. And I've just been out there hustling. I got 1,000 stickers printed, 500 with a QR code to my latest song, 500 with my logo. Yeah. And everywhere I go, I've been putting stickers up in every country you can imagine. And just
so cool. So you've been like, in terms of like the clubbing scene, you've been Ibiza, Zante,
yes,
where else?
Mykonos, Amsterdam, Switzerland. Yeah, been around.
Crazy.
But even in Ibiza, I met my friends there, and we're at the front. They're just trying to enjoy Calvin Harris, and I'm there like putting my stickers on everyone's bags, being like, all right, let's make some opportunity out of this. Because I'm watching that, I'm like, I want to be there. I do. I like. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like opportunities, like going to be like the theme of this like podcast, basically, and it just goes to show what putting yourself out there does. So you're in a position right now where you don't have that much like a DJ experience in clubs or anything like that, but you are taking opportunities. So one really cool thing is, Tomorrowland is like probably one of the biggest festivals, maybe after Coachella, probably the biggest in the world, one of the top three. And something we didn't even know until we just started talking was, so you went to the festival, I was looking at your TikTok, I was like, looks sick. But there was they do this DJ Academy.
Yeah.
Tell everyone about this DJ Academy, because we literally just learned about this and I might go next year. Honestly,
I highly recommend it. It's interesting. It's quite unknown.
Yeah,
I believe it's only their second year of doing it.
Okay.
So it's run over 2 weeks. You can do week 1 or 2. First week is more beginner, second's more advanced. And that goes from the Monday to Thursday. And then if you continue on to Tomorrowland, that's Friday to Sunday. So just the best week of your life.
Yes.
It's 4 really intensive days of training. So I honestly thought, okay, we're just going to go there and DJ all day long. No, it was 2 days of 2 hours of DJing. Yeah. And all your teachers have played at Tomorrowland. They're so talented. Cool. Then we would do 2 hours of production, because they're quite big on, if you want to be an artist, you should be releasing music.
Good tip.
So that was run by Chris Reeve. He on Ableton, and we did a lot of that.
Cool.
Then we had masterclasses where they had the bookers of Tomorrowland come in and teach us. And then we had special guests come in. So we had a Craze, Mandy, Vera. Vera did the Academy last year, and this year was playing at Tomorrowland. So if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then obviously like just the people you meet, you've said you've met like producers there and things like that. So
it totally has paid off, because everyone obviously that's attending has got this same big dream as you. So the connections that we made, the teachers were like one of the best parts. They were so dedicated. They were so into it. So I really, really recommend it.
So it's like 4 days and then you get all this like training and things like that. And it's a small group.
It's a really small group, and there's a lot of teachers, and it's right next to Tomorrowland in this den. It's like in this warehouse den. And then you continue on to one of the best festivals in the world. I mean, it was a hard week.
It was raining though, right?
It did rain on the last day of the festival, but
Who was the best? Martin Garrix, you said?
Martin Garrix is, obviously unreal. Closing that main stage.
Didn't A-Craze shout you out as well? Like
he's like, shout out to the Academy, and everyone in the crowd's like, what are you talking about? And there's like 50 of us that are like, woo!
But amazing, again, like opportunity, meeting people.
Exactly.
And I don't know if we said this, but you're doing this like on your own.
Yeah.
You're just traveling around on your own, like.
I know people think I've got some manager or some team behind me. I'm like, no, it's me and my DMs and just seeing what happens.
But a lot of your sort of community that you built up are like backing you and supporting you and like.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. They're so helpful.
What are like some of the opportunities that have come off the back of it? You spoke about doing various like activation, we call that activations, but like deals, brand deals, that kind of thing. Is that all coming off the back of it, like this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I'm semi-new to this. I know it's what we roll our eyes at, but the influencer world.
Yeah.
But it has been really cool because I don't have any side jobs anymore at these other things, which were soul destroying. And now it's with brands that I genuinely love. Loop earplugs, that was crazy. I was in Greece. This is a crazy story. I was in Greece at a club. Music was so loud and everyone's going, oh, my ears are ringing horror. And I'm like, don't you have earplugs? Don't you have loops? And they didn't know what it was. And I was like, doesn't every person in their 20s and 30s nowadays that go to clubs and festivals wear loops?
No.
They hadn't heard. Oh, really?
Well,
I think it's a social norm.
So I've tried the earplugs while DJing. I've tried it a lot, and it just feels weird to me still. So I don't do it all the time. No,
well, I thought now it's like you get your phone, your keys, you think. So and then still in the club, go to the bathroom, check my emails as you do, and there's a message from Loop being like, "Hi, we love your music content. We're big sponsors of Tomorrowland. Blah blah blah. Brand deal." I was like, am I intoxicated? What's going on? So I shouldn't have replied in the moment. Yeah, the universe. I'm into all that. But yeah, Hercules.
Oh yeah, Hercules. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent some decks. Tixel, so ticket swap.
Yeah.
So it's all brands that genuinely align with music and what I'm doing, and it's so cool that I can be traveling in Europe and getting to do this. And
then we met officially at our link up. So a few weeks ago, we talked about it on the podcast. You might have seen the pictures. We hosted a panel talk at the link up event, which was hosted by Beatport, DJ City, and Beat Sauce. And you came down just like on your own, rocked up on your own. And we were talking a little bit about, it was very sort of male dominated there. We had a few girls that we know, like Annabelle, who's on the podcast soon, but very male sort of dominated, which is an issue. And we were sort of talking about it, and it's something that we've had students ask us if we could have more female representation, and it's something we've never shied away from. Obviously, me, Danny, and Jamie are the voice, so we can't really put that across because we don't have any place for it.
Here I am.
And this is the whole reason we wanted to get you in and just sort of break down that wall.
Yeah.
But you've noticed, especially out on social media, there's a good community of female DJs that are like backing each other, following each other.
It's really interesting being a female DJ. I think that there's two worlds, one very positive, one very negative. I do think you get into the industry a lot quicker because no matter what you do, you need some selling point as a DJ to be individual, and it does help. And especially with the quality and things like that, I think you do get into the industry quicker. But on the other side of the spectrum, I think you have to work 10 times harder to prove yourself. I believe people think that you're there just because you are a girl or looks and things like that. And I think you have to work a lot harder. So it's kind of this, you might get into it, but are you going to stay and last? That's a whole different story.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that social media has made it easier to get in the door for 100%. Like when I first started out, there wasn't that much social media in the clubs. There was just no female DJs around this area kind of thing. But now more and more, you see them headlining main stages and festivals, all this kind of thing, which is like
so good.
Love to see it.
Yes, go the girls.
Yes. So in terms of so you are still sort of new to DJing. Let's say started January. So you haven't yet sort of experienced this like club world, the club scene, the residencies, getting in at 6 a.m, having a McDonald's, that kind of thing. And it's not necessarily like something that you may need to do because, we spoke to many different ways of getting in the industry. And if you can sort of not bypass it, because I think it's good to have that experience, but there is a world where you could get booked just off your name if you've got loads of followers, and the people listening to this, it's all about the music and you need that experience. And look, I've been there, I've done it, I get it, but it's just that, like I said, there's not that much opportunity, and like you said, in Australia there's not that much opportunity. That's why you're trying to get out. So I guess that the beauty of it is wherever the opportunity is, you're creating it for yourself.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
But is the plan to sort of, do you want some gigs? Because you're in Europe till November now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're just going to keep the experiences going, or are you going to try and look for a few little gigs here and there, or are you just going to
I'm really interested in the live streaming world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
And as we're saying, Pirate Studios, I've been going there, which is a studio here. You can rent out rooms with CDJ 3000s, and that's now I've been making some content.
Yes.
Because again, with making your own opportunities, I'm totally fine to jump in and do the club scene. But if I can jump online and already get my followers and build a community that way, you guys actually said on the panel the other day, and whether we like it or not, followers are currency nowadays.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of DJs. Yeah. So what is your extra thing? And it
is a tough one, and like I say, there's loads of DJs in the scene that don't do social media, and that's fine, and they've got gigs, and it's because they've been established. But if you're trying to create your own path, it's like, if there's not that many, you said you moved to the countryside in Australia, there's probably not a club for about 10-20 miles, so it's like you can't just go into the scene and be like, oh yeah, around here there's like 50 clubs. So you've got to make it where you are, and live streaming is a great one. Not only that, it will prepare you really well for them, them opportunities and the live environment and getting feedback and all that kind of thing.
100% in the long run, it's all about playing at festivals and touring, and that's of course the big goal.
Yeah, and you want to keep it like sort of half music, half DJ, or are you just going to see what happens?
It will always be both. I mean, to be able to DJ and play your own music, that's going to be a pretty amazing feeling.
What when you started, what did you start on? You had some decks, you had some 1000s. Now you've got an RX1.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
But what are you traveling with? Have you brought some decks
I've
over?
got my little 400s with me and they stick out the top of my backpack.
Do they?
It does give you some attention. People at the airport are like, oh, you're a DJ. I'm like, yeah. When I got to Ibiza, everyone's like, where are you playing? I'm like, oh, Ushuaia. But yeah, I've got my little traveling with them, playing with them. But yeah.
You went to Ibiza Rocks, which is where I DJ'd.
I know.
You said Becky Hill was your favourite artist.
She's my favourite artist.
I was in her dressing room, by the way.
I hate you.
Ibiza Rocks, though, is cool, right?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places I'm going and I'm like writing down, okay, this is bucket list venues, and that's definitely one of them.
Is it? Mm-hmm. You said you preferred it to High.
Yeah, I know High is one of the best clubs in the world, but it's so packed. How can you say that you've seen David Guetta when you're squished like a sardine at the very back?
Yeah,
So
but cool people don't say that.
Yeah. They're like,
cool people. I was at High. I was in the
toilet.
toilet with MK.
Yeah, the toilet was one of the best areas.
That's all people go for. What else has impressed you in the clubbing scene around your travels?
Just in general, Ibiza is a whole other world. I think that was a once in a lifetime thing. I don't know if I'd go back again unless I was playing, because it took a toll. Mykonos, a lot of fun. Big Australian audience there. It's all Aussies. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But then I was saying Zante's the opposite. That was just the most wild UK people you can imagine.
Yeah. So I did like a residency there where I would fly back. I did like maybe 15 shows there. I was flying back Wednesday, coming back Thursday, and like just 24 hours on that strip in Zante is like terrifying.
They don't stop. They really don't stop.
No, it's all British as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy though, but great experiences.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I'm staying for ADE, so I'm very excited. They're going to be some big events,
cool,
which I'm really excited to see.
Huge events.
The stage.
Yeah, and the good thing about ADE is it's so versatile. You'll have like talks in the day, you'll have little pop-up booths and this kind of thing, and like little equipment pop-ups and things like that. And like you get like a snapshot of the whole DJ industry in like a weekend.
And I think it's going to be intense because there's so many talks I want to go to in the day, but then these parties go till 6 a.m. and the talks start at like 8:10, so it's just going to be,
this is the life.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it.
So when you sort of go back to Australia in November, so what is, you say you don't really have a plan, but you want some like clubbing experience, festival experience, something like that. Is that what you want to try to do next?
Yeah. So everything's packed up. So I'm going back to my parents, or not, but I'm going home to summer season because we're opposites.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun because that's when we do have our festivals and events on.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. I've just now luckily had some talent bookers reaching out to me. Nice. So that's going to be a bit helpful. Maybe I might be able to get into a few, and that's the goal.
100%. And like, getting the clubbing experience, there's you can almost like over prepare, like, do you know what I mean? Like you can, like, we have so many emails of like, I'm just having like my first few gigs and how many tracks do I need, and like what is the equipment going to be, how do I do it? And it's like, until you're actually in there, it's so difficult to be like, here's what you have to do, because you have to like just enjoy it. You have to like fail, you have to like press Q on the wrong side and the music go off, and you're like, oh no.
And that's what I'm super aware of. I know I'm very confident at making a video, and when you're making a video you can pause it and make it the best thing. But again, I think, and even responding to a crowd and making the music for their environment is something that I don't have experience in yet. So that's my next step, definitely. So the club scene is not that too heavy around where you're from, like Sydney and Bondi. I thought Sydney and Bondi was lively. Is it not really? Is it more like bars and pubs? Yeah, it's a lot like chill day vibes. Things close quite early.
Yeah.
It's very different. I mean, you guys are partying here until like 6, 8 a.m.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not being home.
I was saying right now, as this interview is taking place, this is our what we call Freshers Week. So in the UK, this is where all the new students come to the city. So there's all the brand new events on, some new venues opening up, and it's like a big opportunity for new DJs especially, but then all DJs to get different gigs, and there's always an abundance. So if you're like new in the UK, this is like the week to like get gigs. I guess there's just so many going on because people are trying to like be the new big event, this big brand in town. And like I'm passing around gigs now. I'm saying I can't do midweek anymore. I've got to be here interviewing COCO at like 9 a.m. So, but yeah, like opportunities like that in different areas, especially in the UK around September time, is where you'll sort of find. They don't have that in Australia though. It's not like Is it just busy in summer?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's why everyone comes to Europe for winter.
Yeah, I guess
for Europe summer here.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that getting to some club experience, I think would be like great for you if you can go back and just find like even just like day bar, like rooftop, something like that, where you can just get your foot in the door and just like almost like practice while like no one's watching kind of thing, you know, like absolutely. Super chill. I always suggest like if you're starting out, a lot of people will get offered like, you know, like like restaurants or bars or something like that where you can like, you don't have to like focus on a dance floor kind of thing. You can just be in a live place where you've got a bit of pressure to like perform, and you can take it a further step. Whereas if you like, your first booking is like Tomorrowland, it's like, oh my God.
I mean, I won't complain, but
yeah. So in terms of your content then, how are you going to like change to sort of attract, because a lot of your DJ content started off being like, I'm learning now, but you've been doing that a while now, so I know you can DJ.
Yeah.
So are you going to switch a bit more like authority now, because you've got a following who's followed you DJing for 8-9 months?
Yeah,
you know how to DJ now.
Yeah. Well, I'm even noticing now my content has going from what does this button do to now almost teaching.
Exactly.
And it is kind of fun to be like, guys, look at what this button does on the other side of it.
Yeah, because you're practicing, experimenting, and you've got to, other people now want to see,
Yeah.
oh, actually, if I start now in 8 months,
Yeah.
I could be like DJing at Tomorrowland, like getting, a talk from A-Craze.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think no matter what, vlogging is, I just love it for some reason. It'll always be a part.
Yeah.
So long-term goal, I mean, someone like James Hype, I watch
Yeah.
Moving Differently religiously
Do
every
you?
week. Tita Lau, she now has her episode every week on YouTube too.
Yep.
So if I think long-term, to be able to have a videographer and
Yeah.
somebody actually following you around and doing that, I think that's always where it's going to come along with me.
I think it's a great lesson, because we in where we are and in the UK, there is like a big scene where you can go out and be in that scene, and you sort of learn from within that scene. But if you're from an area that's maybe not that lively, you are watching these big DJs, not even big DJs. Some other DJs have vlogs and blogs that you follow, but it's the only way you can learn.
Yeah.
And you're following these. And
You also feel like you know them as an
Yeah.
artist. You
Yeah,
really
yeah.
do. Like when I saw James Hyper get closer the other day, and you just feel like you know him and his whole team. And because DJs nowadays, they're like our pop stars.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah,
and so it's not just the person playing the music in the background, it's who they are as a person. And the whole package.
Interesting. When we had Chapter and Verse on a few weeks ago, he's like, in DJ circles, like James Hypes and all these kind of people, they're like our gods, but like, to your general public, the DJ scene is like so niche that like nobody knows, like no taxi driver knows like Dom Dollar is, and like,
So true.
but to us it's like the Messiah, you know what I mean? But but so we eulogize over their content and things like that. And it's great now that there's so many platforms where we can like indulge all of this, and you just build like a little bubble, don't you?
Yeah.
So that when you open up YouTube, it's just filled with like
Exactly.
DJ content and like
Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
very
that.
cool.
Amazing. Right? Do you want to play a game?
Ooh, I know exactly what game it is.
Let's go. Right.
Yes.
We've stuck with a game. I get Twitch out. I like to. We went for a phase of switching it every week, right? And I just ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
So we've stuck with Crossfader Chart Challenge. Still not 100% with a name, but we'll stick with it for now. So the rules of the game are: we've got 7 songs here, and once the 7 songs in the chart. Once you pick a song, it has to stay at that number in the chart, and you cannot move it. So, being that you've just been to Tomorrowland, we're just going to do big, like, main room bangers, right? You'll know them all, right? Just all big main room bangers, dance floor crushers.
Yeah.
The big ones, right?
Yeah.
So, you've got 7 spots. So, my pop shield's just fallen. Right, 7 spots. Right, we'll start off with this.
Oh, gosh, I'm so indecisive.
Okay. Oh, I've got to keep that down. Love Tonight. Wait a minute. Big anthem. Big anthem.
Oh,
This come out Tomorrowland? It must have done.
yeah.
I mean, it is a bit it came out last year, but still,
I'm going to give that, slot number 5.
You know what? Everybody starts at 5.
Really? You just don't know what's coming.
This is the game. Like
That's
everyone,
funny.
I'm going to write this list, so I want to.
Oh,
So
this game makes me anxious.
everyone. We did this. The podcast will be out by the time it's recording. But when we did this with Joe LaBelle, he was so gutted at the end of it. Right, so we're going to put Love Tonight in at 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with this.
Oh,
Right. I'm good.
it's such a banger.
You love it?
And you can't help that it's overplayed, so you kind of go, oh, but it's a good song.
Yeah. What are you
I'm
thinking?
going to give that number 2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
Also, because
bold.
I've done a cover of that song. I just
Have
love
you?
that
So
song. I've got a connection with it.
I think that I'm not a fan of that song just because I'm old enough to remember the original, which I used to hate.
Okay.
It's nothing against him.
Yeah.
So number 2.
Guess so.
Let's go with this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that should be number 2.
Still not bored of this. This has been out like
This is
3-4 years now.
now.
This should be number 2, is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Okay, we're going to give that number 3 then.
You going number 3?
Yeah.
All right, let's go with number 3.
So what have we got left? 1.
So you've got Love Tonight in at 5.
Uh-huh.
I'm Blue, number 3. And then Piece of Your Heart at number 3. Sorry, yeah. Blue, number 2.
Yeah,
Piece of Your
Blue's
Heart, 3.
2.
Right, next one, this one. Bit faster.
Yeah, I actually don't love this song.
Yeah, you know what? Marmite, we call it here. Love or hate it.
Okay.
Love or hate it over
Yeah.
here. It's like I hated this song, and as soon as I played it to students and it was mosh pits, I was
Okay.
like, I like playing this.
Yeah. But now that's going to get number 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It's a bit. Let's see one of them.
Yeah.
That was. Is it Robin Schulz? That one. Yeah, Robin Schulz and Oliver Tree. Miss you. Let's go with this one. The Pegster. Peggy. Oh, just a flash. We saw her at Park Life this year. I'm just having flashbacks. Like, I think I was on Jamie's shoulders at one point.
What do we have left?
Peggy Goo. You've got 6, 4, and 1.
I'm going to give that 6.
Yeah.
I know people might disagree, but
Again, though, you've been all in the party islands where I imagine it's just constant. Constant, right. So that's going in at 6.
So 1 and 4 left.
You've got 1 and 4 left. Okay.
When you hold me,
I thought you might like Ellie Goulding,
I do.
singer-songwriter.
I do.
I thought it might be
This
a bit
has
real
been
straight.
played a lot. Ibiza, I think it was played
Oh my
every single
God.
venue.
Can imagine. Did you go when it was Calvin Harris and MK? Did you go to?
Yeah.
Did you go then?
Yeah.
Was it ridiculous?
It was amazing.
So you've got 4 and 1.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to go 4, aren't you?
Hey, I'm going to go 4.
This is risky.
So that last one better be a really good song.
This is risky, right? So you've got.
You just never know what's coming.
The 1. I mean, I don't think you're going to be buzzing, but we'll see.
Oh, no.
This is more of like a underground. This is more like a toilet at height.
Okay. I love this song.
Yes.
I love this song.
Still bangs. Get to the riff bit.
Yeah. Now P, right?
Yeah. Now P, Drugs from Amsterdam.
I'm totally happy with him going number 1.
Buzzing. I think
Yeah.
you know what? I think you've done all right. So you've got. Let me put this in at the top. You see, and breathe.
Breathe.
And breathe. So you've got at 7, Miss You, which I like that, yeah. Peggy Goo at 6. I'm a bit fuming about.
Oh.
I love me some Peggy, but
Okay.
6. Love Tonight at 5. Miracle at 4. Piece of Your Heart number 3. I'm Blue number 2. Drugs from Amsterdam number 1.
I probably would have moved 2 and 4 and swapped
Would
them.
you? Would you? Apart
But
from that,
otherwise,
though.
I'm all right with it.
Happy days. Yeah, people always get to the boys always get to like the last one. They've got like 1 and 7
Yeah.
left. And I'm like, you are playing a risky game.
You just stay in the middle.
So we're going to stick about and do some filming content and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So what is your immediate DJ goals? Let's say by end of this month, December. You know, we've got 3 months left now of recording this.
Yeah.
So what is the goals? What are you thinking?
Oh, well, go home at some point in November. It's probably the only
Your
friends.
parents.
Yeah. Well, I've got a song coming out on October 4th.
Tell us about the songs.
Yeah.
Where can we find them? Where can we stream them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, song coming out October 4th. It's called Trumpets.
Love that.
So definitely stream.
Yeah. You said you were making some tech house and stuff.
Yeah, it's my first tech house
So this
song.
is the tech house song. Love that.
So if you go back to my older stuff, it is very pop.
Yeah.
My last one, Head Spinning, is Deep House Dance. And I'm in these two worlds because I am a singer and
Yeah.
it's that same Becky Hill vibe I love.
Yes.
But then when I go to DJ, I like tech house. That's what I like to play.
Yeah.
So I found that I wasn't even really playing my songs. So I'm in these two worlds. So right now, I mean, I release my songs independently. So right now my game plan is alternating between a tech house song and a dance song.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, let's see what happens.
Well, again, going back to the sort of chapter and verse story when he was on the podcast, like his sort of output is so insane that he's known as like the tech house guy, but his output's so insane that he'll drop like a techno track.
Yeah.
But then it's okay because if it kind of flops, 3 weeks later he's got another tech house song out. So it's like it's all about volume.
I'm intrigued what people are going to think because I post a lot of covers and stuff too. So I'm known as a singer,
Yeah.
and this track is genuinely spoken. chance.
Oh,
so it's people. They're not going to be expecting it.
Yeah.
And I'm recording the things here in London. So if one's out in December, if not, we'll be out in January. That's more a dance vibe. And then usually I've got a catalogue of about 100 songs, and I sit on them for a while.
Yeah. I think most.
But
singers, But because when you make a new one, the old one sounds
exactly.
The new song sounds great. Yeah.
But there's one track I said I'm new to production, but there's one track I'm working on which I'm so sure it's not even halfway kind of complete, but I'm so sure it's going to be released.
Got the feeling.
I just, they say when you know, I haven't really known before. I'm very indecisive and I ask for opinions, but with this one, I'm really excited. So hopefully then within early next year to release a song that I've produced and sung on and then be able to play that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
That's a trifecta. And you were playing some of these songs out at the Tomorrowland. So you got to play on the stages.
Yeah,
and you
we
were
got to play
playing
on
some
the
of your
stage.
songs out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, hearing your songs through this crazy, like state-of-the-art equipment, I was like, wow.
Yeah. So song releases. Different genres and delve in and see what happens with that.
Yeah.
And then
definitely start doing some gigs back at home when I get
100%.
home. Yep. Content. I love making content.
Yeah.
So no matter
more
what.
like brand deals and
Absolutely.
activations, that kind of thing.
But just I've got the time and the ability now, so I just want to be able to continue making this DJing content, building my community. I love this community that I've built and I'm super grateful and it's really exciting.
And I think that, if you can sort of travel around the world by yourself for 4 months, then getting a DJ set is probably a bit easier.
Hopefully, let's see. I'll go back like begging promoters.
Well, hopefully we can come back in like a year's time.
How cool would that be?
We've just seen you at Tomorrowland and all that kind of stuff, and we can share the part 2.
Yeah, that would be really exciting.
But yeah, everyone, guys, make sure you follow COCO on the socials. What are you on TikTok? What are you on Spotify? Where can we follow you?
Always COCO Bevan.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the show notes and on screen and all that kind of stuff. But thank you for coming in.
No, I want to thank you guys. It's weird because I've learned so much of my DJing from you guys on the other side of the screen, and I'm standing here with you. It's very exciting.
Oh, again, going back to what we're saying about the theme is like opportunity and like putting yourself out there. You never know what can happen.
Yeah.
And that is what we'll leave you on.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.